Hello, welcome back to Lumps of Life. My name is Jared Lumsden. Today I have another wonderful guest joining me. My next guest is the owner of the Age of Aquarius. He does sound healing and he's actually helped me quite a bit on this journey and probably is not even fully aware of that. So, welcome, Mr. Mario Sobrino. Thank you for coming on, sir.
No, my pleasure. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you guys.
Absolutely. So you kind of have popped in to our lives multiple different times, and I kind of want to start this by telling the story of a couple of the interactions I've had with you and how it's kind of like very much so helped propel a lot of the progress. So it's been quite a while ago. We had went in there and my daughter was dealing with she was kind of having basically just phobias. She was struggling consistently with germs. With We had a moment where just literally everything she thought was going to kill her, everything was going to make her sick, like to the point where I finally was like, okay, I'm going to take you to the urgent care and we'll let them check you out so that way you can feel good, you can kind of get this. So we took her in there, we had that whole conversation, then we got home and we were kind of like, okay, see, hey, everything's fine. Then she started panicking because she was convinced that the germs at the doctor now was going to be the thing that she caught and that something was going to kill her. And it was constant. We tried everything. We were just constantly talking to her, having her speak these things out. It could not break her of it. And one of the days we just happened to pop into your store and you were there. I believe it was just a random occurrence that you happened to be there too. And we started talking and you ended up showing my wife the sound healing. You had her kind of do it first to make my daughter comfortable and walked her through it. And you could just feel, I don't know, it just felt really good. It made me very intrigued of like, oh, okay, this is really interesting because I'd never seen anything like it before. It was very, very new. So doing that, then she laid down and did it, and you went through a whole thing with her. And from that point on, that germophobia was not a thing anymore. She like completely broke it and it just melted away. So then it was a few weeks later I came in and did a full session with you, and it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life. Like it was almost like having what people describe what mushroom trips are like, but I was just laying on a table and you were kind of walking around doing different sounds. And I think the most profound thing that happened that like legitimately made me emotional where you had a instrument that made the sound of waves crashing, and the way you walked me through it, I can't remember the exact like wording and what it was, but essentially you walked me through like feeling peace and happiness, and in that moment I could like visually, I went to a place where me and my wife were sitting on a beach, and I've been kind of going through this journey and it's had a lot of ups and cool quite a lot of downs, which is where a lot of these lessons have came from. And it it was that moment of like, hey, we did it. Like we've gotten out of this struggle, we've gotten out of this rough patch, we're finally able to like breathe a little bit. And it like overwhelmed me because it wasn't something I was expecting. And the whole thing, like just talking about it's making me kind of like have that, because I could feel it again just sitting here like explaining this story. And it was something I'd never been around before, even just being in your store. So what the Age of Aquarius is you guys have a lot of the crystals, the sound healing, the tarot, like there's, and it just feels, it's like a safe place. It just feels so good in there. But the way you did that sound healing, two different experiences with my family, both just overwhelmingly positive. So first and foremost, I wanted to tell that story so people kind of get a gist of what we're going into, but I think it'll help explain like my personal experience with it and how wonderful and amazing it was for my brain and my body, along with what it did for my daughter. So, first of all, thank you. And secondly, how did you come about doing these things?
All right, then let me start with this. First of all, I want to say that thank you to my partner Ruth. She original opened this place in Brazil, Indiana, and an incredible partner, incredible friend, incredible um, better half, I would say. And she helped me through, I will say, a transformation of and bring me back to the store. And we together start reinforcing what she starts and bringing me there. It showed what I was here to do. And long ago, I
Yeah.
started doing this because my son have a little bit problems with seizures. And in my desperation as a father, you will know, I started learning different healing modalities from pressure points, acupuncture, cupping, aromatherapy, reflexology, energy feeling, energy healing, crystal healing. And then I was desperate. I was going through a lot of process of trying to figure out how to help my little boy long ago to facilitate his I would say recuperation and Tibetan bowls showing up into my life and a process of that learning bring me back to help my son and another children in Indianapolis, Indiana. Um, it, I take a break for a while and getting back to um, what I started to do 10 years ago, I start promoting this sound healing in the edge of Aquarius. Thank you to me and Ruth work together. And I never go forget that she always mentioned to me the sound room that I have in my house. The door was not open for 3 years and what I'm here for. And I never forget it. She made me start trusting back again to the social and being around and it was incredible. And I recall every children, every person that talked to me, and I show and share these beautiful techniques and healing modalities. Ruth and I, we decided to create a safe place for all religions, all cultures from everywhere in the world. I remember as my promise 10 years ago, I will honor all religions and pray with all because all are one and one at all. And in that promise, I started using more healing modalities and adding instruments to do so. Then my background is a shamanism practitioner. We use different herbs, we use different sounds, flutes, instruments. We do a lot of different traditional smoothing or cleansing, and in we work with energy because all are centered. Then
Yeah.
in our base, what I will say when I started educating myself more to uh, helping others, I started realizing the vibration and frequency into people and how the energy flow. I guess it was a
Yeah.
download or whatever happened in my mind that I started looking at people different, like they glow. And some of them
Yeah.
they glow more than the others, and some of them they have different energy fields, and I can see ruptures on them like a
Mhm.
shield. And it was
Oh,
so
that's
weird.
interesting.
It was so weird because it's not a bad thing, but sometimes when people come to me, remember that you don't come to see someone to be healed, but to remind you who you are and how to become the healer. Many people confusing themselves, running around trying to find a messiah or a savior or a healer, but what they don't realize that as Ruth and I, we provide the tools to you become what you're seeking.
Yeah. So that's something that I've learned with this. The more you chase these influencers, these people who have figured it out before you, the more you kind of run into a blockage because you're trying to be something or someone that you're not. The
Well,
more you listen to yourself and you find what works for you, anyone can give you advice, anyone can give you the whatever the tools to fix it, but if you don't fix it and you're not putting that time and energy into healing yourself and to being yourself, you're just kind of, but I think that's what society's turned into. That's why all these influencers and these things become so popular, because it's easy, and life's scary. It's hard to just trust yourself and trust that you know what you're here to do and what your purpose is. That's really scary. So it's easy to just sell that to a paycheck. It's easy to just take that comfort and not follow what you feel like you're on the planet to do, I guess.
correct. Well, as I coming back to you, I remember very widely um, your daughter walk into the shop, and I saw her with you and your wife, and I'm not going around and put my hands on people or try to absorb these on and so, but you walk in a sacred place full and around crystals. They specifically they work with energy, of course, and the collection that we have in the shop. I even, as I mentioned so many times, it's okay that you don't have no money, because some people say, "Oh, I don't have no money. Can I walk around?" It's like, please do.
Yeah.
That is what the place is. You know what I mean? Yes. We sell crystals, we sell sage, candles, and many different holistic modality tools.
Mhm.
Yes, we I would say educate. We have a great staff of people, very knowledgeable in different things, and they all put together this great team in the Edge of Aquarius, where Ruth is bringing so many different holistic modalities, and she worked really hard to provide for the other building. We are doing yoga classes and workshops for other different people, educating them with herbs or different holistic modalities, and I see these people reacting slowly, but reacting to this change, this movement,
Mhm.
And when I saw your family, it is so funny because that day I supposed to be in someplace else working, and we're normally very busy people,
Mhm.
and it's an in and out, And I remember that I was very busy, and I was trying to finish something, this and so. And I remember to call and walk into the shop, and I was walking out. Then I saw your family,
Mhm.
and I noticed then, with all respect, the fear and phobia and energy shift on your daughter.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember drop everything that I was going to do and
Well,
turn around and just start talking to her.
so that's something that, like, I've kinda dabbled into a little bit via the podcast that I've done already, but that's a part of this story that I haven't really dove into yet, that for the last 4 years, throughout this journey, yes, I've lost a lot of weight and I've gotten in the gym and, like, tried to work on my mentality, but life got really, really, really difficult there for a little bit, where, like, just relationship wise, things started crumbling. The just all across the board in life, I felt like it was like a game of whack-a-mole, where it was just problem after problem, chaos after chaos. Like, and then in the midst of the relationship problems, the car breaks down, the oven goes out, it's been just nonstop. Then the finances drop, and obviously trying to build a business, trying to do things, it's hard, it's a struggle. And that part, those were those times we would end up in there, and it just always felt really good. We kept collecting different crystals. The meanings on them were like, we always found ones that really hit home with what was going on in life at the moment. And, like, it was just an energy across the board. I'm positive that the things that were going on in our house, even though we did a really good job of like handling ourselves in these moments. And we essentially learned that I'm not exactly sure, but via my conversations with AI, essentially I've got some form of autism and ADHD that causes my brain to see patterns. It causes me to just like, I'll go into these high drive where I feel like I can conquer the world, and then I'll get hit with this energy drain where I feel like I can't function or get out of bed for a day, where it's like I have to pull myself out. And I've just learned via going to the gym, via working on my diet, having conversations with my wife, talking about these things that trigger my brain, it helps me like stay out of that world where it's like, oh, you're not good enough, nobody cares, you can't, like, it's so fucking overwhelming that it like it takes over your brain. So a lot of times we would end up in your store, just same concept, it would, I just feel it, and it was like, ooh, we need to go there today, and we would always find something. There would always be a crystal, you would be there, and we'd have a cool conversation. We would, it just, there was always something that clicked, that brought us out of whatever funk or dark spot we had hit. And it became like, I don't know, it just became like a, almost like a weekly thing there for a little bit, where it was just kind of this outlet for us to go in there. So there was probably that fear, that, because I'll be completely honest, there were so many times throughout this, because my brain was feeling those things, her brain was in this survival, almost narcissism, where she just learned to just lie to protect herself. So then my brain was almost like a lie detector, and her brain was lying to protect. And we were just butting heads over and over again. And it was one of those things where I just recently had AI break down our brains, and I basically gave it a scenario and was like, hey, this is what we're doing. Can you break this down like the movie Inside Out for me, and show what our brains are doing to each other as if it's the control panels? That way we could both read it, see it, and like visualize what was happening in our brains. And it was a thing that helped click. It was a thing that helped kind of like calm that down, to where we can kind of pull that ego out. We can have those conversations and start working to build that back up, and it's worked so much better. But a lot of those times we would end up in your store, that's probably a lot of what that was coming off of, because we were kind of in the thick of it in a lot of those moments, where going in there was like a legitimate release for us.
It is. Then let me tell you this. What it happened to our personality or people around our soul or bodies when we react this way and energy shift?
Mhm.
What we, the people that we love the most, have a retaliation against to or pull in opposite directions. And I tell you why. And it's because we are a being that absorb energy by different patterns. This energy come from different things, different friends, different situations, different work. These patterns and energy, it alter the main center, that's you. Then when they asked me to do a sound healing, I do a sound healing technique. I found the core energy of energy patterns and frequencies of the human being and recalibrate it to the original self. And it's always a self-healing process. I'm not there healing you. I am there in tuning like a tool. Then
Mhm.
one of the things they say in many Native American tribes that when they play the drum, and it's a 1.3 megahertz, this note, it will imitate the heartbeat. And then others in many and in different tribes, when they play the same note, their heartbeat in tune to one. One simple example is when you expose to your partner or your friends and you having problems with them, it's because another outside source of energy is altering the patterns. And altering the patterns mean that evolving in a different being.
Oh,
Then if you
so
use a Tibetan bowl and then tune that like a heart chakra tune or tuning forks or very simple, any instruments that they have all around the world. they have one key, and is self-awareness.
Mhm.
Then I was talking to a person, and I love pocket watches.
Okay.
And that was a good example. I was telling this person, I love pocket watches, and every week, every day, every time, I will collect some of them, and I will grab one of them and switch for another pocket watch. But on the weekends, I will um, wind each and all of the pocket watches that I own, and it's a spiral. And the funny thing is, they tick different,
Oh,
but after 30 minutes, they all in tune to one tick into the whole house.
that's fascinating.
Yes. And and I'm telling you right now, I love investigate and learn different things in different ways to alterate patterns. And even when you speak or how you speak, many monks in Tibet, they use the diaphragms to speak different notes. And when they talk, they can make people calm or afraid, or switch the energy fields. Then sometimes it's really good for like customer service. Great job for him. But I use it for in tune people. In
Yeah.
your case, when I was talking to you with the ocean drum, um, I in tune the heartbeat of your family, of you love. And it's pure and it's beautiful. And you have all these wounds that they are just scars and marks of growth.
Yeah.
And then I pour the ocean wave sound on each of them, reduce like realiving, bringing you back again from a source of energy, beautiful energy that is being seduced to be in cluster, because fear, because phobia, because we don't feel enough, because whatever it is that the around and outside work bring us, or traumas or fears or phobias or
Mhm.
anything. Then you grab that source and you see it, and you restore like a DNA activation. You go with each of them cells and restore it with sound and vibration.
Yeah.
When they say
So
Tibetan bowls waves, that means that the waves, it will go to your DNA itself. Quantum energy, pure and form and for all. From 528 to megahertz for 136 for the heart chakra, or 285 or whatever megahertz is. It's a restructure and a tool to restore self-healing empowerment. When you was there,
okay.
I did create something amazing. And it's because when I use these sounds, I create symphonies with the unique and more amazing, beautiful energy that is the heal. The person is there. What you saw, my work, it was have nothing to do with me, that yourself. I was just cleaning and tuning your beautiful energy.
So that's super interesting. So I have multiple. So, like with the clock analogy, it's kind of the same with humans. We all tick differently. It's
Yes,
just you're just on the same frequency, you're on the same ride, you're all going to end up in the same spot. It's just kind of the way you tick. So
yes,
when we've went through these things and we hit these like hard times, I kind of equated it to like a roller coaster or waves essentially, where like life's always going to throw you hard times. And if you take it as, like I said earlier with whack-a-mole, if you take it as whack-a-mole and you're just getting whacked over the head with it, you're not going to learn anything from it. If you take these moments where God, the universe, puts you in that fire, puts you in those hard times, and you look at that with that perspective and that self-awareness, and you go, okay, what am I doing wrong here? What is this lesson for? Each hard time for me, on the back end of it, no matter how hard it was, because boy, we've had some times where I thought our relationship was over. I thought I was going at it alone and we weren't going to make it out of it. And on the back end of those, when we've been able to have those conversations and figure it out, or I have these failures with trying to start a business and do these things, it hits you so hard in the moment. But when I've learned that if I hold on to them and I don't do anything with them, I just overthink them, I let them sit in me, I push them down, whatever it is, that creates that negative energy in me that keeps it. And it's the same thing with relationships, with habits, with anything. It's kind of like money. If you're putting money into something and you're getting a negative return, you're probably not going to keep pouring that money into it. If and that's kind of the same with your energy. If you're putting energy into something and it's making you feel crappy, it's making you feel bad, there's probably a reason there. There's something there that's not jiving with your vibration for one reason or another. And the more we spoke these things out to each other, as bad as they were, as embarrassing as they were, the shame, the guilt, it created that like almost powerless thing where you make it so normal. You make that thing that terrifies you, that you're scared of, you tackle it and make it normal. If you're scared to do a hobby, if you're scared to talk to somebody about something, if you're scared to have a conflict, the more you face those gracefully, the more you tackle those things and you pull your ego out of it and you make it about compromise. You make it about building the relationship, fixing things rather than, oh, I want to be right. I want to win. It doesn't, you don't win, you're just screwing things up. The more I backed off and looked at it from her perspective, from the other person's perspective, I didn't always do that. I used to have a problem with using my voice like a flamethrower, and I'd feel something and I would just let it rip. And obviously that does not work. You can't always do that. I mean, there are time and place to let those things rip, I guess, but for the most part, if I cut the ego out of it, I cut the insecurities, I cut the overthinking, and I just handle it moment by moment. I stay present. I can't fix the past. I can't change anything that happened. And I also can't go into the future. All I can do is work every single day to be a better person. I can do what I can do every day. I can trust my gut. I can trust these gut feelings, this like and the more I work on my body, the more I work on my diet, the more I work on getting rid of these things in my head, I feel like I have that connection with God, the universe, whatever it is, where everything just feels better. I feel like I can get through it, but that's because my brain usually feels like it's going to explode if I don't do that. It gets very overwhelming. My brain runs like a 12-lane highway, and there's just constantly things going on, and I feel like I can feel everyone. Like it now that I've been doing this, like I see it in everything. I feel like I've developed like a human lie detector to an extent, and I drive my wife and kids insane.
Well, I cannot say much about who we are or what we become with the success of stories. We need to be aware that what we say we create.
Hmm.
I hear you and your explanation and the way that you handle and say things. We need to be aware that you are a powerful manifester. We all are. And what we say, we feel.
Hmm.
And when we hurt people with our voice, is I will not say to be proud about, but just
Yeah.
visualize the power to see a soul to read energy and use that power to be negative against them.
Yeah. And that
Yes,
was
and
something
I'm
I
guilty about it because if that was not um, for the love and support that I have from my partner Ruth and this, I would say, transformation, sobriety, it changed people.
Mhm.
And being sober, alcohol free, and not even to even think about it for over 2 years. It is
That's
an
awesome.
incredible goal. It's something that you see different things, different ways. You feel yes, they are all raw. They are all raw and powerful, and some of them devastating because you was numbing yourself with escape to feel or known to feel all these
Yep.
emotions. But when you got all this all overhead, um, I'm very aware of how I use my words lately, and you can see um, it is hard to people understand where we come from and what the things that we go through
Yeah.
fails, or I failed so many times. No, you just find another way to not do this.
Y
You know
well,
what I mean?
life's kind of about failure. If you're not
Exactly.
failing, when you face failure in life, when you face pain, that was the problem for a long time. I fell into comfort. My wife fell into comfort. So then we just both avoided conflict at all times. We just didn't want to roughly we both fell in love. We both wanted to be with each other and we didn't want to screw it up. We both had made mistakes. We both were in that same mindset, and it was so much easier to just like put that mask on and pretend to be something different. And throughout this process, I started like unraveling my brain and I started seeing these things that I was doing wrong. And it was like, oh, and they just kept getting put in front of me one by one, where it was like,
Oh yeah.
the first time I read a thing about narcissism, and I was like, "Oh, I do a lot of these things. That's not good.
Oh
Like
yeah. We
that's
all
not
do.
great."
We all
And I
do.
kind of used the narcissism to cure the narcissism, where I didn't want, like, I was doing a podcast all the time and I was like, "Well, I don't want people to know that I do this stuff." So I started working on it. It was not for the right reasons at first. And then when I started fixing these habits in myself and I started doing these, I started seeing things elsewhere. And then that was when my brain would overload, and I always had a temper. I always had that overwhelming anxiety, and I would explode. I would see it and I would, oh, this isn't good. I gotta fix it. And then I learned, like, oh, I've got too many tabs open in my head. Like, we gotta bring some of this back. We gotta bring that energy back. I can't fix the world's problems every day. I can't help. It's gonna drive me insane if I try to like go after every single thing that I see that drives me nuts. I'm gonna lose my mind. So losing those tabs and being like, okay, we got to delete some things. We've got to bring ourselves back to whole. We got to work on ourselves. And thank God I did, because had I not like had that realization and pulled myself back and been like, hey, you gotta figure your life out. Like, you've got to get some things together. I would have lost my wife. I would have lost my family. I don't think we would have been in this spot had I not had I kept putting energy into all these things. I'm very confident that I would not have my family anymore. My priorities were so far gone, and I was so focused on finding success and doing these things and making sure that I was trying to provide for my family. I about lost the thing that I was trying to provide for.
Well, I totally understand that. We should just make sure that whatever situations that life bring us, we own the choices and become our decisions. And I feel when you do that, you will understand the peace that is to recognize every mistake that you get. And in order to do that, I believe that meditation or any instruments, the ego bring you out of this a stressful situation. When you surround yourself, like you say, with right people, you start learning and being positive. And sometimes the people that come to your life, they don't stay in your life because the energy is different, and you don't belong to them and they don't belong to you. Ain't nobody to be belong and blame. Just keep working in yourself, because we are the source of power or family, a domino effect. It will alter the life of all of the people that are surround them. If we center our home, instead of try to change the world or change yourself, change your situation, change your choices, the people that are around them, center that energy, meditate, use yoga, do different holistic modalities, surround yourself with crystals. So you don't need to be crystals, but do something with somebody that you love. And you will start realizing that every choice that you make, they make every situation in your life, it was your own choices. You will stop calling you egocentric. You can start calling you human. We all
Yeah.
have ego. We all have mistakes. We all want to hurt ourselves in one or in another situation or another point. And it's because all of us vibrate in the same wave, the same situation. When we feed or fears when I was drinking. I remember that I don't even remember what I was drinking. They just to shut my brain out. And
Yeah.
in order to you lost everything, and when you lost everything, you need to accept it. Yes, this person was right. That's why they walk away from your life, or why this is why these people are not talking to you anymore. But then you need to own it. And yes, you don't need to go and apologize to nobody because it was you.
Mhm.
You did it. You choose it. You choose to hurt the people with your voice, with your situation, with whatever you want to blame name on. You can wear any mask. You can name it anything you want. But then disability, I don't see that fair because they are called emotions, what we felt. Break the cycle. If you got trauma in your life and you don't fix the cycle, you will traumatize the rest of the people that are
Yeah.
behind. One person, it was so funny. I was in the shop in some way or some other, this person know me and taking some classes, and this person turn around and read my facial expression and say that is a, something about lack of or daddy issues, right? She would never expect that I turn around and I say, yes, my
Yep.
dad do this and this and this, and I wish that my dad not do this, but I'm not going to blame him because his father do this to him and him. And it
Yeah.
was his choices to treat me this way. But I
Yeah.
did change. I did not treat my kids this way. I broke that cycle. And in that moment, the trauma, the hurt, the ego, the everything that it was in that direction coming from me, it was eliminated. I told my
Absolutely.
dad today, I love you. After I don't
Mhm.
spoke to him for years.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I decide to stop blaming and putting mask to whatever it was traumatizing me to not be the person I want to be. I don't need
So
to prove myself to nobody, but to me.
so what did that feel like after you told your dad that?
Well, the funny thing is, in the state of mind that I am right now, the reaction of him is obsolete
Mhm.
for me
Yeah.
because it was nothing else for him.
It was
They
for
just
you.
fulfill something. Then this is a when they what we were. I was in my son's swim competition, and I remember that my dad was not able to make on mine, but I was able to make my boys and be there for them. And it's so funny because I'm very bold with them. You know, I will go to see them. I walk and they are in my house here and there, and I share weekend with my ex-wife, and it is important how I treat them. But
Mhm.
then I don't have a map to how to treat these
Yeah.
boys, but I do have a map of whatever I did not have. One is that my dad check on me every 10 or 15 minutes if you guys are okay. Then my dad reinforce whatever they like. If my boy is in this and anime, I don't understand Pokemons and stuff, but I'm there in the grocery store buying Pokemons.
Yep.
You know, a person like me walking into Walmart and ask the guy, "Hey, do you have the new Yu-Gi-Oh?" And the guy look at me and say, "What? The Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game." Oh yes. Okay, this way is right next to the Pokemons. And okay. And I go and I check, and I know for some reason this is the one that my boy needs, right?
Mhm.
Then I don't know if my dad tried to do this, but then I started thinking that I was comparing my life
Yep.
with my father's one. And it's not fair because there's no comparison.
Well, and your brain does that almost automatically where you
Yeah,
like I have to almost stop myself where I start thinking ahead. I start getting excited about things and I'm like, "Hey, no, we're doing it again." Like, back
yes.
off, relax,
I
but
do
it's
that
so
all the
easy.
time.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's so
God.
easy because our I think our brains are just wired to do that, and
They are
especially
wired to do so.
well,
Yes.
with our generation, like, I think there's a whole, like, couple decades worth of people where, like, each generation, your parents did the best that they could, but it's our job to do better than they did. It's our job
Exactly.
to evaluate this pain and this trauma and go through it because then you learn, "Oh, this is why I do this. This is why I do that. This is why this
Own
thing
it.
makes me
Own
freak
it.
out." Yeah, and then the more you speak it, you make it powerless. The more you ask your parents questions, you learn things, and then it's like me and my wife learned that we had went through similar things to both of our parents, and it was like, oh shit, okay, this is like literal generational things that we're in the midst of. And now we get to pivot and take a different angle. We get to learn from this and go a different way. I just had a conversation with my kid, was worried about grades and was worried about like a test and was just kind of in a panic. And it was like, hey, I want you to try your best. I know that you are very intelligent. I know that, like, but if you're not applying yourself and we're not like paint it, like that's a whole different story. If you're just like panicked because you don't know how you're going to do, all you can do is your best. Like as long as you're doing the right things, you're being a good kid, you're paying attention, you're like, all you can do is your best. Because in my head, grades were always that, oh, I need to be perfect. But I think that's what I've developed my entire life around is I can't, everything I do, I try to go overboard. I try to make it perfect. And it's like that. I could almost feel it in my kid of like, oh, hey, I got to B on this. I got to C on this. Like in that panic, I could feel it of like, oh, hey, this is what I used to do. And this is the mindset that we need to flip that to. And once you start healing from these things and you start speaking about your pain, your trauma, just anything that pops into your head that gives you that weird feeling or makes you feel that, you heal from it by speaking it out, by having a conversation and learning from it, whether that's with a person, with, I mean, even AI now, you can just type your things in and it's going to help you diagnose what you're doing. But the more awareness you get towards that, the more you can handle those situations when they come up in your kids. When you see those things pop up, it's like, oh, hey, there's another one. I can fix that. I know what to do now. And I can teach my kids to use their brains differently than I do because I can see it. Because they mirror us. They do exactly what I'm doing, the bad habits they have, the way they talk, the way, and it's like, oh man, these things, they are absorbing everything that I do. I have got to change some stuff.
Well, check this out. One day I was talking to a father, and this girl, it will be around 5 years old, and she's very, very a happy child and love to be around. And we were talking one day about how when he's stressed, he brings his daughter to us, and um, he will walk around and feeling the energy. But I always see him concerned, and I said to him, um, I'm not going to say that your kids or need to hide from your children's emotions and feelings. What you do, even as a broken we are, I never forget that I will make dinner for my kids. No matter what, I was taking
Oh
care of
yeah.
them, always checking on them. Even as a broken you can be, I was there. Then I see people doing that, and I see you and the love that you have for your family and your partner. And it's beautiful to see this reaction, and even talk to your son about golf. You know what I mean? They walk in the shop, and who will know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, how we speaking to them, and that's is very important. And what I want to bring to you is domino effect. How
Hmm.
we treat other. I mentioned it to you, and we treat our family, or family we treat us. But remember this: when our children hear mom and dad saying, "We are going to eat breakfast," and we eat breakfast. We are going to eat lunch. Come to the table now. And what happened? We eat lunch.
Hmm.
Sit down on the table. We are going to eat dinner, and we sit down all on the table and we eat dinner. Then when you see these two adults carrying you on different tasks that we don't may see important, but they are a structure of their life of these children. If I walk to my house with my boy and I act funny and I do this and I do so and I feel and emotionally recharge that energy to them,
Hmm.
I alterate the momentum. When they go and they have bad grades, I say this because I walk to my boy, Adrian, Caden, my 12 years old, is swimming, and he, I will say that the other kid was faster, right,
Yeah.
than him. And he come over and I can see his face because he saw me there, and so, and I never forget it. The only thing I asked him it was, "Did you feel that you do your best?" And he said, "I did." And I said, "Well, dude, don't worry about it because from this angle, they were faster, bro." You
Yeah,
know, they were
yeah.
so fast. Don't
Well,
people, did you feel, did you do your best? Let me tell you,
yeah,
I'm proud of you. And he said,
absolutely.
yes. And I said, the next time, stop competing again to yourself. If you do, if you 10 minutes now, make sure that you go for the 11. And when you are the
Mhm.
11, make sure you go for the 10. And if you can, start with the 10. And it's it. You need to keep trying, but don't put weight on disappointment of
Yeah.
somebody.
And that teaches them everything in life because you can compare your chapter 1 to anybody's chapter whatever, and you're going to drive yourself crazy. It's so hard to be a beginner in society today because if you try anything, it's either safety or you fear that you're going to fail. Everybody's going to make fun of you for doing this, for doing that, and that's because that's what society usually goes to. But teaching kids that, hey, try something. If you like it, try it. If it makes you feel weird, let's figure out how to conquer that. My daughter started cheering, and the first competition, she gets anxiety like I do. Like I I don't know if it looks like I have confidence, but like I get like crippling anxiety when I, especially when I do like these things, when I do any of it. Like once I get going, I'm fine, but the leading up to it, it's that like crippling gut like whoa. But she got that with the cheerleading and it freaked her out. She went out there and did it and knocked it out, and I showed her the video and was like, "Hey, look, like you don't look nervous," but it gave her that overwhelming, like, oh, I don't want to ever feel that again. So we talked it through, and I was like, hey, a way to get through that is your brain cannot be thankful and anxious at the same time. So when you start feeling that, start talking about in your head everything that you're thankful in life for, and it starts to dissipate. It starts to feel better, and that'll help you control that anxiety. Also, understand that everyone else is watching their kid too. No one's like hyper
Watching
focused on
it.
what you're doing. You just do your thing and have fun and understand that, like, who cares? Like, if you mess up, what's going to happen? The judge is going to see it, but like, are you going to come home and get yelled at? Or are we going to, like, no, I'm not even going to know that you messed something up. So just know that we're going to love you and it's going to be awesome. If the only reason you're not doing it this year is because of the fear, we got to break that. Like, let's break that. Do you love it? Well, yeah. Do you want to do it? Yeah. Well, then the fear, that's just the fear. That's just you being like in that mindset. This is a good opportunity to break it. But had I not done the things that I've done, had her mom not done the things that we've done to get ourselves to this spot and to do this work, to face these hard things, to stay in the gym every day, to fight the stuff with the diet, with our relationship, we wouldn't have gotten to the point where we had the capacity to do that. We would have just been like, yeah, hey, don't worry about it. Don't do it. We just, yeah, hide from that. But then she doesn't learn how to overcome that fear and do something that she loves.
Yeah.
So before I don't want to keep you too much longer because you have given me so much time and I appreciate it. I kind of we cut out there towards the beginning, and I believe you were saying at the beginning of like kind of how this all started, and it started with your boys with autism. And how did you when like coming from the sobriety into what you're doing now, where did that all come into play of you, I guess, wanting to become a shaman?
No, well, first of all, it was seizures that I worked with my boy for a while and
Okay.
using Tibetan balls to this. I am a Mayan descendant for the Riviera Maya, Yucatan,
Okay.
Mexico. You need to understand that in Yucatan, Mexico, or any places in the world, to become a shaman, you need to be selected by a tribe. Then we are no shamans here. We are shaman practitioners.
Okay.
The only way that you can be a shaman is to have a group, a circle of healing, a healing circle, And this tribe will go and say, okay, we are like 27 shaman practitioners. You will be the main character in that tribe, select one, and the one it be chosen to become a shaman. Then
Okay.
we practice shamanism, and then I do practice many different shamanic modalities, and very close to Latin American and Native American shamanism, drums and instruments, very similar. Mayan people or Riviera Maya, and um, different cultural of Navajo tribe, or many different Native American cultures around the world, even in Canada. Um, Shamanism is a healing modality. They use many different tools to help and aid to clear bad spirits, or clear negativity, or clear energy to center a person. It can be using flutes and drums or different herbs to cleanse and smudge. My extension it was that I was able to understand a little bit more outside of the box, and start learning that all cultures are the one, and there are many different tools, and I start practice with them. And I will say that as I learn to use this all together and one a session of sound healing, like I practice with you, because if you remember, it was between Tibetan bowls and conch shells, and I have a drum, and all
Yeah.
these altering you your energy and self. And when they were playing in different places on around your body, I was making sure that in both parts of your brain to be tricked by two different notes to alter your own self healing
Oh,
empower. Then a shamanic practitioner, as I do like to practice or call myself, it will be able to understand many different outside of the box healing modalities. And when I say this, around the world, and the opportunity to be at the shop and learn about the crystals and about the people and about the herbs, and keep growing and um, understanding the fact of tinctures and herbs and teas. And it's really cool to see my boy coming up to me and say, I want a tea for these. And he know what kind of teas we're going to use and the herbs that we try. I'm not saying that he's 100% knowledgeable, but that is a little goal in life, you know?
yeah.
Teach the children. Then when your children's were in the shop, you will see that they have my attention and they are listening. Like you, I remember the fears of his daughter to sleep in the dream catcher that we specifically create for her. Did you
Yeah.
see that? This has been 2 years, I believe.
Yeah. It's still sitting above her bed right now.
Do you
That I
remember?
actually
It's
just
been like
told
a year and so.
I just told someone that story the other day. That was another random time that you just happened to be there and she was struggling with her sleep and we were looking for crystals that would help her be able to kind of like have that peace when she went and laid down. She could kind of hold it and then you just happened to be there and I believe you were working on them and you sat on the floor with her and just helped her create a dream catcher that was awesome and she's still right now it's sitting above her bed. It's something that has not moved
For
since that
nowhere, yes, you were
day.
right. I not supposed to be there for some reason. I was doing some stuff, and I decided to work on the shop to finish some of the dream catchers that we were going to do in one of their events and in a workshop. And it was really neat to be able to set in the level of your energy field. Then
Yeah.
this is how important it is to help others in your family to be able to help you. When you say you help and treat my wife, and then my daughter felt comfortable enough to come to
Mhm.
me, and I'm being in situations where the children are feeling comfortable, but then they have a stuffed animal, and I would treat the stuffed animal first, and they see, and then they ask me to. Very familiar in that, but this is an autistic technique that I learned. There's sometimes autistic children they don't like to be touched or talk, or they have different autism levels. And I never forget when I worked with the autistic center in Carmel, I was going and totally ignore the children. And I have all these Tibetan bowls, and I'm talking to the handlers. And I hate this word, handlers.
Yep.
But that is what they are.
Yep.
And each of them, they're each of them they're in charge of one child. And the coolest thing ever, it was when I decides to do the presentation, do the sound, and you see them all moving around and activating and kicking and doing and something. When I play that ball, all these go to. And when I play the second time and strike the heart chakra ball, all the attention was on my head.
Mhm.
Then I start treating the handlers. And you see the kids started being right next to the handlers. And I'm having the Tibetan most of the lower backs, I'm doing in the stomach, and I'm doing this. And so, and the kids are now participating. And in 1 second, the domino effect is created. Sometimes I say, people look at me and they're mean or they say something and they don't like me. But I always smile. And without saying nothing, I will say, it's okay that you don't like me. Your dog will come to me and the children talk to me.
Yep.
That, bro, that is my win.
Well, because it a lot of times the way like you speak about things, the way you see these things, if you're not doing the work, you don't heal from these things. When you speak about it, it kind of mirrors that in people and it freaks them out. That was kind of what I dealt with my wife, or these things that I was doing, and she was looking at it as, oh, I have to keep up with him, I have to do, and it was like, no, I just need you to be yourself. Like, you don't need to be me, I need you to be you. I need you to find the things that work for you in life. I need to find what makes you happy. Don't try to keep up with me because you're scared and you think that you need to keep up with me to make this work. Like, no, I just need you to be the happy, healthy version of you and do what you need to do. That to me is how we find that peace in our relationship, is by being our own people and trusting that if we're the right people for each other, then we should be able to be 100% ourselves. That should be the goal, I think, in every relationship.
Yes. You know what is funny? A couple of days ago, me and Ruth, we were at Walmart in Brazil, and this older man is taking care. His name is Frank. You see that he's tired and he have a button in his shirt, and the button say, "It's okay not to be okay."
Yep.
And I don't say a word, but I talk to him. And they small town in Greencastle. It's funny because I will walk in places and I will call people by name. From Kroger, I will walk there every Friday morning. Every Friday morning, I walk in Kroger and I will buy a dozen of donuts to drop to my shop in O'Reilly's, drive to all the way down to the edge of Aquarius, and do whatever I can to make a change, make a difference, right?
I love that.
But every morning I will walk, and you see from the lady that pack and bag my stuff to the lady, the cashier, the lady that's standing in the bread, and everybody, I will pass by and I will call them out by name and tell them good morning. And that is something that they make them feel different, right?
Yeah.
Every time. And I try to do that. It's domino effect on creation of what I give to others and people and start my day. And it's very important, since sobriety, you need to be constant. You need to be busy in something that you like. For 2 years, I've been listening to videos. I'm very weird. When my boys are here, I always play at 5 o'clock in the morning for them sounds, even when my
Oh,
son is already
cool.
here. But I always have that every morning. 5 o'clock, you can ask anybody that I'm in my house, water my plants, doing this, so and so. And I said in 30 minutes, I will meditate, listen to music, understanding sounds, learning an instrument, and I focus myself in something different. It can be a dead language, it can be a little bit of side language, it can be how to play the banjo, how to play this, or how to work on this, or this and this. And I always try to keep my mind in a goal of learning and getting better myself without
Yeah.
telling nobody. At 6:30 I stop, and then I go and by that time my boys are already gone. I already take care of them. It's no hard time to meditate or heal yourself. The only thing you need to do is to stop for a second and do something that have nothing to do with everything that you need to do that day. In the mornings, I make my bed because I feel that every morning when you make your bed, you do already something accomplished.
Mhm.
I walk out of my room and I turn around and I look at my bed, done and ready, and I will say, that's my reward after the hard work that I have, and I'm tired, walking in that scene and see that it will be bring my peace on.
Yeah.
Then I left. And I do all this kind of stuff. And it's funny because people in town, they drive in my house, they know that I go be outside watering this and doing that. And it's like really early. And why? And it's because sobriety teach me one thing, and it's all my choices.
Mhm.
Depression, it make me take away all that time from anything that can make me feel better. You know, when I started understanding depression is my choice, and I understand it's going to sit down by me, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be my depression. It make me feel like this, it make me feel
Yeah.
like that. It destroy my life, but it's right here. Look at it. When you realize that your depression is right here, you say, now today is not the day. You go be right here. I go sit you right here for a second. Let me second. I go be back to you. Let me just breathe.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I tell you as after sobriety, it was to see the worst of me.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, when they ask me what kind of the what drug you think is the strongest for a human being, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. After a while, I can say, man, I feel that something strong. I call you drugs. I will call sobriety. Just visualize the empowerment of feel everything that you're running away and start
Mhm.
your life sober. Understandable. I never forget it. 2 years and more, I said to Ruth one day, I want to love my kids sober.
Yeah.
And that day, I am loving them sober in socks. Because now I sit down when they're in their computers, when they're in their phones, when they are busy, waiting for 5 minutes of me to see, hey guys, I'm sober, I'm different, I'm better, I'm this, but I cannot tell them. And you know
Yep.
what I do? I will knock at them and I call them for a 3 meal course meal. I will cook for them. I will ask them what they want. And when they don't answer or they ignore me, I make fun of them and I say, hey, bro, what are you doing? I'm
Mhm.
here. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to connect. Now, in the future, I want to you say to your kid that you're going to be there. Because in this story, Pop, I call them papitos. In this story, papitos, you will not say to your kids, my dad wasn't there.
Yeah.
Even when I was drunk, I do my kids' meals, laundry, rooms, everything. Even when I was drunk. Now that I'm sober, I want to make sure my boys don't go in the future and say my dad wasn't not there for me. No, I knock in his rooms, even when they're on their phone, and I will ask them, hey, did you get any new things? You want to play Beyblade? You want to play this? No, no, no. But then the trying is, then when at the end of the night, I will tell them, hey, Pop, just so you know, I come 6 times to your room to check on you. I was here and do this and this and this without you. I ask you to do bonsais. I ask you to do this. And your little brother is the one that did. Then please, just understand, I'm not begging you for your patience. I'm not begging you for your time. I'm just making sure that you not tell this story that you was a broken man for my.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
did
good
not
for
do
you
that.
for yeah, good for you for having that perspective and seeing that, because that's something that, like, I feel like with humans, I know that's something I did forever, where you make those mistakes and you hide from them, but you being able to have that, like, "Hey, I understand this is my mess up. This is me putting in the effort to repair that. This is me putting in the effort because I want you to see that, hey, I understand I made a mistake and I want you to see that you can build back from these mistakes. They don't have to define you. Your past does not have to be who you are. Who you are today defines you. Who you are when those decisions get tough and those hard times come and you get that
How
opportunity
would
where
you
you got
react?
that yeah, you got that angel and demon on your shoulder, and you get that opportunity to fall into that comfort or that temptation or that old habit, that old addiction, and you say, "No, fuck that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going this way. I'm going to make this decision." The more times you do that, the easier they become, the more you almost naturally wire your brain to make that decision. And for me, that was how I broke them all, was whatever, feeling that embarrassment, talking to my wife about things that I didn't want to talk to her about, talking to my kids about things I didn't want to talk to them about, like them asking me questions and me going, well, I can't be a hypocrite and go, hey, like, I'm telling you not to lie, but I'm just going to fake it and tell you that I'm not going through some shit right now. Like, and I used to do
Tell
that.
them. Tell
Yeah.
them.
And then
I need
I,
your support. Hey, can you give me space? Be okay. Then I don't want to offend no one, but then sometimes when we don't want to say it's because we're cowards.
yeah,
But
yep, it's
the
fear
truth is,
because you don't want to feel
we
bad.
are. I'm gonna say this: we are cowards because we don't ask for help. The people that we love the most, because we don't want to disappoint them. But they
Yeah.
are there for the reason that they are there to teach us and help us and support us every time, no matter how broken we are.
Yeah.
I never forget. One day I have an accident, and a piece of wood hit me right in the face, and I was bleeding. And I look and I call my kids and I saw them and they paused and freaked out. And I remember, and through all this drama, I look at them and I say, it's okay, Pop. It's okay. Come on. It's okay. It's normal. My face is a nerve, and right here, it will bleed more. It's no mad. It's not this. I try to make them understand that where
Yeah.
it was happening, it's normal. This is what happened when you cut your face, and this is how much blood it is. We're not going to do this, do that. And then when I would say guide them through the process. We were all okay. And that's what we need to do. Guide the process of
Yeah.
you're not perfect. In my meditations and the sound healing, every time that I meditate is intense. And I intense meditate. It's impressive. That 30 minutes, I see things that people will be afraid to even spoken or
Oh,
even thought. And all these, it take me to from the light to the dark, to the dark to the light, and then it was an impressive. I never forget. And this is for a shamanic practitioner perspective. I saw my shadows once, and they were hiding in the light.
mm-hmm.
I submerged myself in light to hide from them and run away, swimming my way out. I don't realize that the deepest that I run away, the ocean was submerging me down and down. Then I realized that it was my own hand pulling me into the deepest of the ocean.
Yep.
I turn around and I see the darkness, and it was horrible. But then I started understanding it was so much beautiful. It was dark, and it became a shape, and the shape became a shadow, and the shadow became myself.
Yeah.
And I saw them, and they have different names, different demons, different angels, different whatever you want to believe.
And
My
you make friends with
transformation,
those.
my story is a demon. And I saw him and I sat with him and I see his wounds and I saw why he was angry and I saw why he was traumatized and I saw him and I sat right next to him, not to pet him, not to heal him. No, I sat with my own demons, with all their wounds, and try to understand why you tooth are cricket, why you wounded, why your arm hurt. Is that why you reacting this way? And then I saw this demon looking at me, no anger any longer, because it was no anger. It was pain. It was sorrow. We understand pain and sorrow and disguise that in a demon's face, but then it was just myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I carried this man, this demon. And when I was holding it and his eternal darkness, I pulled a child, violated, changed, transformed, modified to fit in a reality, modified to survive in a world like this. And then I don't recognize this child. And he was pure,
Mm-hmm.
but he was covered with demon. He was the demon. It was me. It was the demon. It was a shock. And then when I see this child coming up to life, he looked at me and say, I am you. And in that moment, I accept that it was my fault, everything that happened in my life. It was my choices and not to do it, not listen. And then in that moment, I accept all of them. And I decide to come back again. and I started working with children and started working with towns and I started changing my life. But the best part is that for 2 years I was working on myself.
Mhm.
No public, no windows, nothing else. They are nothing else that the people that love me,
It
the people they were there for me. I do say thank you eternally.
and I genuinely think that's what it takes is pulling yourself back
Yes.
and putting that time into learning about yourself. We I think healing that inner child is so important in finding
Yeah.
that little you that got beaten down by life, that all these different temptations, addictions, life's meant to just designed to make you negative. It's designed to have you fall into these things, to not think for yourself, to just fall into this safety and control. And it's scary to think for yourself. It's scary to face these things that you've hid from your whole life. It's scary to talk to people about things that you're going through. But once you start doing it and you start learning to become that authentic version of you, you don't really like it melts away, that the anxieties go away, the fear goes away. And that's why I keep working so hard to do these things. I constantly, if something's popping up and it's causing that negative ripple in my body, in my brain, I immediately take a pause. Like I haven't done a podcast for 2 weeks because we went back into the fire. Me and my wife had a disagreement and I just pulled back from everything because I learned my lesson the first time. I didn't want to give that energy away. So I knew that, hey, I want to make sure we're in a good spot. So I want to pull this back. My kids were home with the snow. Same concept. Like, I want to be here. I want to be present in those moments. I want to build something that I'm able to control my schedule and be able to be present with my family at all times and still live my life and have that outlet as well. But facing these demons, facing these fears, you start almost unlocking your happiness. You start releasing that stuff that blocks that little inner you that just wants to have fun and live life and love people, but it's hardened by society and all these societal norms and how you're supposed to behave. And as a kid, like, you cry, your parents immediately, hey, stop that, don't do, because you're afraid that people are going to get annoyed by your kid, or your kid's dancing in public, and it's like, hey, don't do that. Why? They're just having fun. Like, who cares if someone makes fun of them? If they make fun of them, those people are terrible people. Like, that's not cool. Like, let them dance, let them have fun. Like, society should be people finding their purpose and living life for themselves. Like, you're there to teach your kids, you're there to be a partner for your wife, but you also have a life to live of your own. And if you're not
Yeah.
living life, you're not experiencing these things, you're not, all because you're scared, you live this, like, almost like this, like, chained up imprisoned existence where it was driving me nuts.
Indeed. Then you say very a word, and it was unlock this. Then we are always looking for a key of happiness, a key of
Mhm.
love. But as you remember, the keys that I use are sound healing tools as a Tibetan voice.
Yeah.
This is a keynote C. Normally, when I use these in people, I would use all seven energy fields in M. F note, D note, and when they all play together, and that is where your friend was.
Yeah. That is by far my favorite one. That's still like
You know what?
even when you just did that through the screen and I could still feel that moment that I was talking about him. Like it immediately gave me that like full body chill. Like it made me like relax in my seat. It was just that like I don't know. It just something about that one just calms
You
me
want to hear
down and
something
makes me
cool
feel
about that tool? I tell you the truth. They'd ask me, how you learn to play this ocean drum? And this is a true story. I learned to play this by memory.
oh wow.
Then when I was a child, I come from the Riviera Maya where the ocean reside. The ocean messengers of the Maya or tribe or people or Mayan love the ocean and the sun. And we are right there. We swim. We are like a fish people.
Mm,
I am from Mexico, but I'm for the tail of it, with the ocean resides around us. We're great swimmers. We are so attached and close to the ocean. I don't lie to you. Every time that I play for a child, I can recall when I was a child, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8. All my life, I was right next to the ocean. All my life, since I was a baby, my mom would sit in front of the ocean and listen to the waves just caressing the shore and giving all the love away and take it back again. And the shore push it away, and the ocean never quit, and it's giving and giving, and it's so sacred. In all these times that you will hear me playing that drum is a connection of a moment in my life when I was on the ocean to share that moment with others.
yeah. Oh, I love it, and I absolutely love you. You are an amazing person. Thank you so much for giving me so much time and for speaking about all of these things. I know you have the Age of Aquarius in Brazil. Where is your other location at?
Well, me and Ruth, we have the store in Brazil, Indiana. Our new building is the Holistic Center and it's the Wellness Center. It's really cool. Me and Ruth and the team are working great together to put workshops. It's around 10 minutes by the cemetery by Cilantro's restaurant. And
Okay.
we right now, actually, Ruth just texted me, and the yoga class is starting right now in that building with
Oh, that
Brian Memphis. He's a great guy, super funny dude to talk to. I love talking to Brian, always fulfill me with all kind of different things. Come to see us at the shop sometimes. Tomorrow I go be there, and most of the day I go be just cleaning and doing and moving things like Ruth work really hard every day, and I come back and we just finish and finish. But you know that I always going to stop for the children and to share some sounds with them no matter what. You know, we got new
ab
instruments, new crystals and herbs.
well, I will make sure I will actually go ahead and just release this tonight. That way, since you're gonna be there tomorrow and we'll put it out, and I appreciate you so much. I will probably be in there to see you tomorrow because I am now kind of
That's gonna be
jonesing
great.
for a sound healing. So
I will
so you will
totally,
probably
I
be
will
seeing me
totally bring my
tomorrow.
balls with me because they're right here. I'm be like
Oh, yeah.
practicing and playing. Some
Well,
of
I
them
know
they're right here.
my daughter was, pretty obsessed with your Labubu collections that
Oh
you
my
have
gosh,
created.
it's hilarious.
So,
This is a
yeah.
true story, right? Then I was in Kroger, and this autistic special need woman, 33, she's walking and she's doing this, right? And she said, Mario, I love your videos. And I say, thank you for all the support and love that you show and her page, liking all this stuff. And she's like, yes. And I say, she say, I'm saving money to buy to buy something soon. I need to get money first. And I say, yes, what are you looking for? What you are liking? You know, you can ask whatever you want. And what are you liking? And she say, a labubu. And I was like, what? I want a labubu. And in my mind, I thought, oh my gosh. I walk into my car and I remember that I have the box of the new labubus for the shop in my car.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I walked back again to Kroger and I walked to her and I hand her one. And she said, oh my gosh, I don't have no money. And I said, you know what? This is the love and support that you do. And I handed it to her. And I drive in a way, I thought, man, She can ask me for a bracelet or a necklace, something to make her happy. But I guess La Boo Boo is making people happy.
Yep.
And
Hey.
it's a funny thing is they drive even from Lafayette to get because they're highly collectible.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's kind of that same thing. Find what makes you happy, and yeah, whatever does it, as long as it's making you happy and giving you that great feeling. But again, what a sweetheart of a person, like, that just shows who you are and the character you have. So again, thank you so much for everything you've done for me and my family. Thank you for coming on and giving me this much time. I will absolutely be talking to you again because I could have talked to you for hours upon hours, I believe. So thank you so much again. Please go see him either for the crystals, for the sound healing, for the holistic wellness center. Absolutely go check him out, Age of Aquarius. Thank you so much, sir, and we will be back next time. Thank you for joining me.
Hey,
Bye.
I will tell you, thank you.